guys, and welcome back. Today's video is an impromptu one. I actually just got this in the mail from PUR. This is the RAWBEAUTYKRISTI collab, and I wanted to film with it. So I was very interested in this collection. I've been following Kristi for a long time, and I was really excited to get this. I didn't know I was receiving it, so I am going to be testing it out and trying it out on my eyes. So this is a eyeshadow palette and lash collection. I thought the PR box was really cute. It has the same illustrations that the palette actually has on it. So here is what it looks like when it unfolds here, and you just have both the lashes and then the palette in the middle. So I first want to talk about the actual launch of this. So this came out yesterday, and holy moly was this a launch for the books. I feel so bad for Kristi. I can't even describe to you guys. Like, I was on Twitter just watching it all go down, like, oh my gosh. So this launched, I believe it was at 9 a.m. Pacific time, I believe. It might even say it on this little insert here. I thought that this was really nice that they included this. It has a bunch of different info on the product in here and names and everything like that. I thought this was a nice touch with the PR box. Anyway, so this launched, and immediately I was seeing people like having issues with the site, like it was crashing, and you know that happens sometimes with like larger, you know, influencer collabs or things in general that are really like high ticket items. People, you know, they'll wait a little bit for it. Well, this went on all day long. I just couldn't even believe it. I was on Twitter at like 8 o'clock and people were still having issues with the site. PUR had to put out statements. Kristi was on Twitter. She was on Instagram. Like, it was a whole mess, and I just feel so bad for her. I remember I did a collab, if you guys don't know, with Doll 10 last year, and I just remember being so excited that whole day. It was like the most incredible day, and to just feel like that was taken from her just really sucks. I feel really bad for her. So I know that this did sell out now, so I'm excited for her that it did sell out. I know just like probably just left a sour taste in her mouth, and I feel so bad for her, but I am going to just review the palette and let you guys know what I think of it. I'll be honest with you, so just to kind of know if you are wanting to purchase it. They did say they are going to be doing a restock, so if you weren't able to get it the first time, let's hope that the restock goes better than the first launch of it. You guys will have to comment down below if you ended up getting it or how you kind of felt about the situation. I know like everyone pretty much knows about it now. So this is the eyeshadow palette. Here is what it looks like. It does have those illustrations there, which I thought was really cool. She did draw those herself. You look at the back of the palette, it does have her photo here and a little message right here along with all of the shades. So I'm going to go ahead and open it up so you can see. So again, you have the palette here, the black matte with the illustrations there that you can see. And this is actually a double-sided palette, which I thought was cool. So it's supposed to be, this side right here is your neutral side, and this one has the rose gold packaging. So here is the inside of there. So you do have 9 different shades on this side. This is supposed to be more of your neutral everyday type of colors. And then if you flip the palette over, then you actually have the fun colorful side, and this also has another 9 shades. So I thought that that was a cool way of doing the palette to kind of just give the fun color and then also have your neutral side, because I feel like she does both. She's either like really bold and really bright, or she does more neutral looks. So I thought that was a cool touch, and I thought it was very true to her. I thought that this like dual-ended palette was a cool idea, and I don't know that I've really seen that. I like that both sides actually have a mirror. I think that that's nice, so you can really just sit there and use one side of the palette if you want to, or you can kind of flip it over and work from both. I'm probably going to use multiple shades from both sides of the palette in this tutorial. And then we also have 2 lashes that are part of the collection. So this one here is I Can't Be Bothered, and these are like a larger, very wispy shade right here. And then the other one we have, and these are called Lovely. I think these ones are supposed to be a little bit less dramatic here. So PUR is a brand that I have used before. I will say their eyeshadow palettes aren't always like my absolute favorite when it comes to formula, so I am interested to go ahead and try this one. I have met a few of the people at PUR though, and they're very sweet in person, and I feel really bad for them too with everything that's going on, but you know, sometimes I just feel like things happen, but it's too bad for them. So let's go ahead and try it out. I will swatch all of the shades here for you as well. Alright, so here are all of the swatches of the colorful side of the palette. So they definitely swatched very pigmented, very, very like opaque on my hand and also on my actual swatches. So I will show you the other side as well. I really think this foil looks absolutely beautiful. I'm excited to try that one out on the eyes. I know that she did mention this is a pressed pigment palette, so do keep that in mind that these may stain your eyes, and just from initial touch, like they are pretty pigmented. So you're kind of going to have to work a little bit differently with these, I feel like, than you would with a typical eyeshadow. We'll go ahead and see when I try them out, but that's how I'm kind of feeling about it. Okay, and here are all of the swatches of the neutral side right here. I will say that the shade B, this one right here in the palette, which is this swatch right here, was a little bit less pigmented when I did swatch it than the other shades, but it still looks pretty nice. All the swatches look very pretty. For me personally, I prefer a little bit more shimmer. There's only 2 shimmers in this entire palette, so I feel like for me personally with 18 shades, like I would rather another shimmer. I know she wanted to keep it just mattes, but for me, I love shimmers and I love shimmers on the lid, and I feel like I'm pretty limited with just these 2. But nevertheless, you can go in with like different palettes to find a shimmer and things, but for me, I wish there would have just been like another shimmer in there. But the cost on the palette, I don't think I mentioned that. I think it is $34, yeah, so $34 for the palette, and then each one of the lashes cost $14. I do really like PUR's lashes. I've tried them out before and I do really enjoy their bands on their lashes. So let's go ahead and actually start trying out the palette on the eyes. So I am just prepping my lid with my Undercover Concealer from CoverGirl. This is what I use typically every single time I do my eyeshadow, so I'm just going to do that before we start with the palette. So to start the look, I'm going to start over on the neutral side, and I'm going to go to the shade Mood Points. I love a good mauve shade, so this one I was excited to see in the palette. Do have quite a bit of kick up, like as you can see, there's a tiny bit of kick up in the pan, so you definitely want to just tap off your brush. And I'm just going to go ahead and place this shadow down and then begin to blend it inward. I didn't set my base, I normally don't, so just keep that in mind as well. And I kind of just set it down and then I start to buff it into the lid. I think that this shade is pretty and it looks pretty pigmented off initial application. Okay, so there is that shade Mood Point all blended out. So far so good with that shade. So I think I want to play with the colorful side, and I also want to try some of the neutrals as well. So I will say that I do feel like a little intimidated looking at this side. It's just so colorful that I'm like, I don't know what I want to do. But I kind of want to do like a purple look, I think. So I'm going to I'm going to go ahead and change my brush here to like a smaller brush, like a more detailed brush. So I'm going to go in with my Transition Transformer from my collab, and I'm going to just dip into the shade Tribute, which is this purple shade right here, and I'm going to tap off the excess again. It's a little powdery, and go ahead and just place this shade down. With the pressed pigments, I always find that when you kind of tap them in, they do better than if you like initially start blending them out first. So I kind of want to tap this in first, and then I'll start to blend it out once I've kind of got the color laid down. So now I'm just going to work in small circular motions to begin to blend this shade, and it is seeming to blend pretty good. I love a good purple eye look. They're some of my favorite looks to do, so I was excited to see there was a purple in the palette. So I'm kind of just, like I said, working this in. I'm just gently going to blend these corners, but it seems to be blending out pretty good. So I think that that shade actually pairs really well with the other shade. I am going to move it back on to the other side just to like deepen that up a bit. I'm going to go into the shade B because I am curious to try this one since it was a little bit lackluster with the swatches. So I'm going to go ahead and just tap into this one, and kind of do the same thing. And I'm just going to focus this one on the outer corner here just to deepen up the purple a little bit. I'm going to run this on my lower lash line as well, just a little bit, and kind of do a little smoky moment here on the lower lash line. All in all, so far, I mean, I feel like they're performing pretty well. I'm not having any issues with like blending or anything like that, which is good. So again, just kind of tapping it and then beginning to blend it out. Let me know if you guys prefer a pressed pigment palette, because sometimes I do feel like they are harder to work with, and I've heard a lot of you guys tell me that too, that you have a harder time with them. So I am interested to see how you guys do feel about that. But these seem to be working pretty well, and I'm not having to work like extra for them. I'm going to blend this out a little bit. Looks like we got a little sloppy here. Okay, so now I am going to deepen this a tiny bit more with the You're Not My Dad shade right here. Love all the names on here. They're very Christy. I love that. So just tapping this one in, same thing, kind of just to deepen this up a tint more. So now I'm going into the shade My Whole Heart right here, and I'm just using this gently over the edges just to make sure everything blended out nicely. I really want to try out the shade Cafe Disco, this one here. I think that this one looks so pretty, so I'm going to use this as my all over lid shade. And I'm just grabbing this one on a flat shader brush, and I am going to go ahead and spritz my brush because I want this shade to be like really foiled. So I'm just going to go ahead and put this on the lid. Ooh, that shade is really pretty. I like that shade a lot. I knew I would. When I swatched it, I was like, this is so pretty. I'm going to build it up a tiny bit more. Definitely very pigmented as well. I really like that color. I'm going to kind of press and almost cut the crease with this shade right here. I think that that's the favorite, like my most favorite shade we've used so far. This is a really good shimmer. It looks nice and foiled. I'm not getting like any fallout or anything with it. I haven't gotten any with really any of the shades, so that's a good sign. So again, just putting this all over the lid. I'm not bringing it all the way out because I want to keep that end of my lid like really kind of dark, but I am really impressed with this shimmer. This one is really pretty. I'm loving the way this eye look is. It's a little bit grungy, but it's not like too grungy, you know? I kind of like that. So I do feel like we've got a little bit of patchiness right on this side. So I'm going to try and grab a little bit more of that shade B and see if I can't fix that. Okay, there we go. That looks better. I feel like I just had a little bit of a spot right there. So there is that look, and I am going to play with one of the colors. I think I'm going to use the white color here to do as a brow bone highlight. Just put a little bit of that in my brow, and then I'm also going to use this, I think, for my inner corner as well. So I'm going to place a little bit of this on the inner corner. The white shade kind of just to like really brighten it up there. This one is very powdery. This white shade is like really powdery. So just placing a little bit of this. I don't want it to be like too intense, but just to kind of open the eye a little bit. And then I want to do another color like on this inner part right here, but I don't want to, I don't know, like these colors, I feel like I just don't know if I want to do, I don't think I'm going to, because I think that if I do that, I'm going to like hate this look and I don't want to hate it. So I am going to just go into the shade Copper Boxes, and also Told You right down here, and I'm going to just run those across the lower lash line instead, because I don't want to like end up hating it if I do end up putting one of those bright colors there. I'm going to grab a little bit of Benefit's Highbrow and place this in my waterline just to give us a little pop in the waterline. But so far I really like this eye look. I think it turned out really pretty. Most of the shades are really easy to use, and I like it. I'm going to go ahead and try out the lashes now. So I think, should I do the more dramatic lash or should I try out the natural lash? I'm kind of leaning more towards the dramatic lash. I feel like with the purple eye look, I think this will look really pretty. So I've been loving from Lily Lashes this new lash glue from her. You guys, it's so good. It's actually a liquid liner glue. So all you do is just apply this as your like liquid liner and your lashes will actually stick right to it. Super cool. Love this. So I'm going to go ahead and line my lids really quickly with this so we can apply the lashes. So here is the lashes on. I really like these lashes. These are very like, they're dramatic, but they're not like too dramatic. They're pretty nice. I really like them. The band feels really comfortable on them, and I really think they kind of like tied this eye look all together. So I do really like this eye look. I think it turned out really pretty. I love how like vampy it is, but it's still just like sparkly and girly. All in all, I think the palette performs really nicely, the shades that I did try. I will say that for me personally, I know I'm going to be sticking more towards like this neutral side. Don't get me wrong, I love a good colorful moment, but to me this side, like, it just seems a bit intimidating to me. So I will definitely play with them more, but I know that for me personally, I'm going to be sticking more towards this side. But I did think that they all performed really nicely, and the only thing I would critique is I do wish there was more shimmers, because when I go into these, I feel like I'm just limited to the shimmers that I can use. Obviously, it's only the 2 shimmers. I do kind of wish there was like maybe like 1 more or 2 more in here, but I do think the palette performs nicely, and I love these lashes. These lashes are super pretty. So I, all in all, think this is a pretty good palette. I don't know that it's going to be like a new favorite for me by any means, just because I feel like I do have those shades, like the neutral shades, in other palettes, but I do think they performed nicely. And then I also got today, I just thought I would pop on a lip with you guys really quickly. I got the new Jen Loves Review collab with Ofra, which is super exciting. I love Jen. I was really excited for her to collab with Ofra. So she came out with these 3 liquid lipsticks with them. So she created these to be a transforming lipstick, so you can apply them with any lipstick in your collection. You can mix them together. Anything that you want to do with these, you can. So there is a light shade, a medium shade, and then a deeper shade. So I'm actually gonna mix a few of the shades together and kind of try them out just here really quickly. So I'm going to try the shade Revive, Refine, and Revive. So these 2 right here. So I'm going to go into this shade first, Refine, and apply this to my lip. I'll be honest with you guys, I'm not someone who really mixes my lipsticks often, so I kind of like that this is kind of, it's bringing me out of my comfort zone as far as trying something different. So I am going to place this like all over my lips, and then I'll apply the lighter shade, I think, to the middle. So here's that shade on its own. I think it's really pretty actually on its own, but I am going to go ahead and apply some of this shade right here just to like lighten it up a bit. So there's those 2 mixed together. I think they look really nice. And then I'm just going to add a little bit of my Kylie Clear Gloss to the top just for a little bit more sheen. Alright, you guys, and that is going to do it for this review on the PUR Raw Beauty Kristi collection. You guys will have to let me know down below what you think of this look. Again, were you able to get the palette? Are you interested in it? How do you feel about the whole situation? I'd love to hear down in the comment section. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye, friends.